Hey everyone, it's Angelina Papazian with River of Life Coaching. I am a spiritual life coach and a master of social work, and here on this channel we talk about a variety of different topics ranging from psychology to spirituality and philosophy, and all different things that relate to what it is to be human. So if you find any of the content on this video to be helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. We're also in the process of creating some courses and workshops, so stay tuned for that. And I also am taking one-on-one coaching clients, so if that is something that you are interested in, you can find my email on the description of this channel, so message me directly. If one-on-one coaching or workshops and courses aren't really your thing, just stay tuned for all the content coming up on this video if you find that to be helpful. So today we're going to be talking about finding our place in life. Essentially what that means is finding where we belong, finding what actually is authentic for us, and really stepping into our true selves, our true nature, and our authenticity. For a lot of us, when we think about what it means to find where we belong or find our place in life, we think about a certain destination, we think about a certain place, we think about a certain environment, but a lot of times it really is the process of getting to where we belong as well. It's the process of becoming, it is the process of shedding the things that no longer serve us, that get in the way from us being true and authentic to ourselves. It's about the process of actually being on the river of life, if you will, or being on the journey to finding where we belong and finding our place. Now, a lot of us also need to really remember that self-awareness is key when it comes to this. We really need to understand ourselves better and really take some time to really dig deeper and reflect on what it is that we actually want, what our values are, what's important to me. What do I want to experience in my life? What do I want to create? What kind of person am I? And what kind of person do I want to be? What strengths do I have? What weaknesses or limitations do I have? What are some things that I can actually do to improve myself and the life that I'm in and the places that I'm in? What is it that actually lightens me up or brings me some joy or vibrancy? What are some things that come naturally to me? What are some things that I'm intrinsically motivated to do? These are the types of questions that we can really ask ourselves to deepen our self-awareness and to really discover where we belong and what it is that we need to do. We also want to really get clear about what we don't want. Sometimes that's a good starting point. You know, a lot of us, we may find that we're in jobs we don't like, or we're in a living situation we don't like, we're in an environment we don't like, we're part of different groups or communities that don't really sit well with us anymore. Maybe we've outgrown them. Maybe we no longer feel aligned with what it is they have to offer or what they do or what they stand for. Maybe we're in a process of really trying to figure out what all of that is. And sometimes it could feel a little bit scary. Sometimes it may feel like the future is uncertain and we don't really know what direction to take, and we kind of just feel like we're flailing about, if you will. But all of that is part of the process of becoming. All of that is beautiful in and of itself, even though it might be uncomfortable, and even though we may want to reach this so-called destination that we may have, our minds may have created about it. But every single thing that we experience and every step that we take is getting us where we are meant to be, and it is the process of becoming. It is the process of stepping into our authenticity and our potential and self-actualizing. So really think about where you are today and think about what is not going well in your life. Really get clear about all the different areas of your life that don't seem to be working the greatest, and really then get clear about what is actually within your power to control and to change in those things. For example, let's start with the job. Maybe you're in a job you don't really like. Maybe the job doesn't really align with your values. Maybe the job doesn't really fit the kind of lifestyle that you want. Maybe the job doesn't pay enough to meet your needs. Maybe the job, you don't actually feel like you can really be yourself there. You feel like you just have to perform or something like that, you know? So think about, like, is this actually a job that is right for you, or are there some changes that you can make right now that can improve the quality of your time when you're at this job, even if it's only temporary? You know, for example, it's like, are there any practices or habits that you're engaging in that might make it a little bit more uncomfortable than it needs to be? Or is it really just a matter of leaving? You know, we need to get clear about what are some things that we can actually do to improve these situations, and when is it time to just walk away and start working towards stepping into a different location or a different environment or a different place. Think too about your relationships. Think about all the relationships that are in your life, whether it's people in the groups that you're part of, close friends, family members, colleagues, you know, people you come across And think about your close, intimate relationships. Think about your romantic relationships. Are you actually satisfied in all of your relationships? What is it that you actually need in your relationships? For example, do I need quality time? Do I need someone to spend time with me? Do I need affection? Do I need words of affirmation? Do I need support and encouragement? Do I need somebody who I can speak to or talk to whenever I'm going through something that's hard and I need someone to give me different types of feedback or perspective or advice to actually help me and improve my situation? Or do I not? Do I just need somebody to bear witness whenever I'm experiencing those things and to just sit with me while I'm experiencing those things and be with me? Do I need relationships with people that are actually aligned with my values? Do we actually have people in our life who are similar to us in some ways when it comes to our values and lifestyles and beliefs and identities and everything? And is this actually helpful for us? Where do we need to actually spice things up? Maybe we can have friends and family members that we're close to that have some differences in values, and maybe we need people who are the same. Maybe we need a little bit of the two of them. So really get clear about all the different things that you want in your relationships and whether or not you are actually getting those needs. And if it is something that is realistic, that you can make a request from somebody, ask them. If it's not, then maybe you just have to stick with what it is that you have right now and maybe not completely end that relationship, or maybe you do. We really need to get to discern, is this relationship actually working out for me, and how am I showing up in relationships? That's another thing we have to be clear of. It's very easy for us to look on the outside of what other people are doing or not doing that isn't working for us, but we also need to understand what are we doing or not doing that might not be working for them as well. And we can even bring this up and say, hey, I've been noticing that I've been doing X, Y, and Z. How do you feel about that? Or how does that land with you? How does that sit with you? And get curious about them and really show that we care about them. So we have the jobs, we have the relationships, we have our living situations. Are we actually in a place where we can live in a different environment that might actually be more suitable for what it is that we want? Sometimes there are economic barriers. That's a very real thing. Maybe we have to start working towards creating better living situations for us and better financial habits, or gain more resources if possible to actually live somewhere that's better. Or maybe we do need to reevaluate how we're living and what we're actually spending our money on, and if it's actually aligned with what's really important to us. For example, am I living in an area because I just want to impress people, or am I living in an area that actually I'm satisfied in and I'm happy with? Or can it be a mix of the two? Where do you really stand with that? So there's a lot of other things that we can look at. There's also our health, our mental health, our well-being, the physical habits, the foods that we eat, how much water we drink, whether or not we're getting the medicine and the vitamins that we need, whether or not we're getting enough sunlight and water, and actually spending time doing things that fill us up, doing things that are meaningful for us, or at the very least are just things that we enjoy doing. Maybe we like to engage in different hobbies and crafts. So these are different things that we can really ask ourselves. But when it comes to really finding our purpose or finding our place more so and stepping into authenticity, we do have to do a clear inventory on where we're really at with these things to give us a good idea of what changes need to be made and what we can actually do about those. Part of this is also finding meaningful work that aligns with our strengths or talents or interests and our ways that we can contribute. Sometimes we might find a certain cause or group or community that's really important to us and aligned with our values and the vision that we want for the places that we're at and for the future generations. And being part of that could be part of finding our place there. Maybe in the experience where we're actually working in different groups and environments that really help with a certain cause, we actually get closer and closer to where we belong. And maybe we find that certain spaces are only for a season or only temporary, but still taught us many different things. For example, maybe we were part of a group that maybe it wasn't going to be a group that we were going to be part of forever, but maybe there were certain things that group actually helped us in, and maybe there were some things that we helped other people in that group with. So it's really important for us to look at what we're actually gaining from things, but also look at what we are helping other people to gain from our presence there. How are we actually leaving an impact? Is it a positive impact? Is it a negative impact? Is it a mix of the two? Sometimes it might be difficult to discern. Am I actually leaving a bad impact on something just because things might be difficult or challenging? Or is it just that it's shaking things up and making things shedding light onto things and bringing things forward that need to be looked at. So sometimes we might need to get a different perspective on these things. We might need to get a second opinion. Sometimes we might also just need to do some soul searching within ourselves, and we might find that those answers are within ourselves. But there are so many different small steps that we can take to actually step into where we belong. When we really look clearly and when we really search for it, there's always a way. If my experience is a testament to anything, a lot of times when I least expected it, new opportunities, new insights and perspectives, new experiences came when I wasn't expecting it. And it also came when I was actually seeking it out. When I was actually seeking community, I found community. When I was seeking relationships and making the efforts to build and maintain relationships, they came and they were cultivated. When I was seeking to develop different habits, I was able to maintain those things. So there was an element of different types of actions I needed to take, but there was also an element of just leaving it up to the divine, leaving it up to God, leaving it up to the universe to bring me to where I need to be and to place me where I need to be. A morning prayer that I do that helps me a lot is, God, place me wherever I'm meant to be in my life today and give me everything that I need to move forward with whatever that is. Make things clear to me. Show me the way. Show me what I need to do. Show me what I don't need to do. Give me the insights and perspectives that I need. Give me the strength to move forward with whatever's in front of me today. And the more that I invited prayer and the more that I invited God into my life each day, the more that I was able to find that I was taking one step in front of the other to actually get closer to what was meant for me. Now, some people might want more of a secular viewpoint on that, and that's perfectly okay. Something you can ask yourself is, what would a better version of me do? What would a better version of me say? How would they act? What would they say or do? Where would they go? What actions would they take? What would a person who loves and respects themselves do? Where do I need to be? What feels right for me? A lot of these types of questions that we can ask that we think are more spiritual in nature can also apply to more secular frameworks as well. So don't limit yourself, don't limit yourself to only spiritual practices or only secular practices. See if you can be open to multiple different perspectives or ways of viewing these types of things. Get clear about what your gifts are. Get clear about who you are as a person, what strengths you have, what talents you have. Get clear about what you're interested in. Sometimes when you have a desire or an interest in something, that's useful data that can help guide you to where you need to be. And then it's about really just stepping into it. Sometimes it's going to be really scary. Sometimes we may not know what the future is going to hold and all the uncertainty that comes with it. We may not know if all the efforts that we make into something are going to really pan out. Maybe we don't know exactly who we're going to meet or what experiences are going to be like, what things are going to feel like as we're going through them. But sometimes we just need to take that step forward. Sometimes we just need to take that leap of faith. Sometimes the things that we least expect are the things that are the most beautiful for us. Sometimes the things that seem bad when we're experiencing them might actually have some benefit to us in the long run. Sometimes we may find that when we're on the bridge of incidents and we don't know exactly what's going to happen, we may find that the actual end result is meaningful and fulfilling for us in the long run and is part of our expansion and our growth. So we need to get curious. We need to stay open. We still need to be discerning. There's definitely value to it. Don't go somewhere that you think is going to harm you. That's really going to be detrimental to your physical or emotional safety. But really get clear about, is this something that is actually going to harm me in some way, or is it just that I'm uncomfortable and I'm being challenged right now? How can you discern between the two of those? What themes are constantly coming up in your life? What patterns do you have? Have you really sat down and done the work and done a solid soul searching and inventorying on yourself, on what you need to change, how you're showing up and how your actions are affecting you and the people around you and the communities that you're part of? What is it you actually need to do differently in your life, and where are you meant to be? Who are you, and why do you think you're here? Where do you fit in the grand scheme of things and everything in your life? What are you becoming, and how are you being called to serve? How are you being called to be? What do you want to stand for in your life, and what are your values, and how can you act according to those values? Do you think that your purpose in life is discovered or created? Sit with these types of questions. Sit with all of these types of things that may not have one answer or may have multiple ways of looking at it, but really ask yourself intuitively what you feel about all of these. How do you want to view these? What feels the most aligned and most right for you, and why? And then take actions to move forward with the different areas of your life. Really sit down and think about all the different things that are within your control and within your power to actually help you to step into the life that you want to create. Where do you want to belong? Where is it that you are meant to be in this moment? The way will be clear when you ask. I have found that to be true. It may not be right away. It may not make sense right then and there, but a lot of times when looking back on my life in hindsight, I was able to see that I was being carried through each step of the way, and that every experience that I've had has shaped me into what I'm becoming right now. Every lesson that has been harvested has shaped me into the person that I am today, and we continue on that momentum. We can continue on that journey and on that path. And we can do that with God, we can do that on our own, we can do that with friends, we can do that with whatever we feel most drawn to in the moment. It doesn't have to be one way or the other. We don't have to be the same exact person every single day. We don't have to be have the same exact viewpoints and beliefs that we stick to, and we don't have to have the same types of intentions every single day. We can choose what feels most aligned with us and what we're most drawn to every moment. It could be different each day. It could be different each week, each season, each year. Don't limit yourselves. Really just stick to what feels right for me in this moment, what feels most aligned for me in this moment, and see where it takes you. So, if you found this video to be helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. There's so much more that we can delve into on these topics, and there's so many directions that these topics can take. So if you find anything to be helpful, just like and share it, subscribe to it, see where you stand with all of these questions. Ask more questions. If there's any questions that I may have posed to you, but there were other questions that came up as a result of that, sit with that. Really journal it out, talk it out with somebody, pray about it, meditate on it. Speak with someone who might have some insight or guidance on this and some wisdom on these things, and see how that might be beneficial to you, and how that you can actually take those lessons and apply them into your life. See if it improves your life. Sometimes there's going to be an element of trial and error to these types of things when we're making changes in our lives, and that's okay. But really give yourself the chance to actually sit and to really take the time to do that. And without further ado, I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you soon.